Today's video is going to be learning how to remove the background on something with remove.bg.com, learning how to create a black and white SVG quickly with the svgcreator.com, using Inkscape to take smaller lines that can't really be used in the SVG creator and turning them into thicker lines if you're trying to make an SVG outline. Taking a large SVG that's too big to fit onto your mat and cutting it into pieces to make it smaller to fit onto the mat, slicing and welding, and hiding objects on design space whenever you go in to cut if you don't want to cut everything that is on your design space. So we're going to start with removing the background. Obviously the first thing you need to do is find a picture that has a background. I have something similar to this one here. So I'm just going to go to remove.bg. This one says /upload, but if you just put in remove.bg, you can come in and upload an image, go to where you save it. I always keep my stuff organized and save it in places that I know I'll be able to find it later. So I'm going to go in for my Hello Kitty. As you can see, I've done this once already. I'm just going to choose this Hello Kitty with the background on it, and it's going to come up and show me this. If for some reason it were to take away some of the other stuff that I didn't want it to take away, I would simply just restore. So I can kind of go around and this is where I want it. If it didn't take away some things I wanted it to take away, I would just erase it. And then you're just going to hit download and download the picture that you're wanting. So I already have mine downloaded in there, and basically once it's downloaded, then you're good to go. The next thing that we're going to do is svgcreator.com, and it's as simple as you select the image that you want. I'm going to do this Hello Kitty face. You're going to convert the file. When you come down here, you're going to see this is the original picture. This is what it converted to. This one actually looks pretty good. It's a pretty thick outline. I do believe I have already saved this one in my SVG files. So I'm going to go in and just make sure that it's there. Yeah, I have my Hello Kitty face right there. So the next thing we're going to do is using Inkscape to make lines a little bit thicker. So I'm going to kind of show you what I mean by thin lines. So I have this outline up here that is just a cute little heart with no background. And whenever I try to convert the file, this is what happens. You can see there's some little breaks because it's just a very thin heart. So if you go into Inkscape, I'm going to Control I for import, and I'm going to go up to where that same picture was, and I just want the heart with no background. Now, maybe I can grab it. See, it's so thin I can't even grab it. I'm going to pull it down a little bit, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can kind of see and put that up towards the top. So I'm going to come over here and hit 9 because I really would like it to be a very thick line, and I'm going to apply and see how thick the line comes out. So as you can see, this line is a lot thicker than this line is, but say I want to make it a little bit thicker. I'm going to do a screenshot. I don't know how you do the screenshots on yours. Mine has an FN button, and then I hit Shift. I have an HP Envy, so I screenshot it, and then I'm going to paste it here, which is Control V. I'm going to bring this up. And I just want to get this one piece of the heart, and I'm just going to cut right there. And then I can come back in here to my Inkscape, get rid of this one because I don't need it anymore, and I'm just going to paste it. Now this is the one I just took out of the paint down here. So again, we're just going to update that at 9, apply it, and now it's even thicker than the one before. So I mean, really, you could do that as many times as you wanted till it was whatever the desired thickness was. Could even go up. I think at some point it just turns completely black, but kind of move down a little bit and apply. This one might even be a little tiny bit thicker than the other one. Inkscape is pretty cool too because you can kind of make some different things. You could take both these hearts and kind of make an intertwining heart like this, and then even change the colors if I really wanted to. So if I wanted, I could do like we'll say like a purple over here, and I want a blue. Oops, that's supposed to be purple. I'm going to click out of that, and I want to do a blue over here. You always have to click out of it. And then I'm going to do, we'll say this light blue color here in the middle. And then I want to grab both of these. I want to make sure I'm grabbing just the outlines. Whoops. And it looks like I did not grab that outline, so let's try that again. Yep. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to grab the outlines. Maybe I'll try down here. There we go. Okay, so here I should have, yep, both of the outlines there. And I'm going to go to Path, Break Apart, and then hit Path again, and go to Union. And now I have this whole thing is all 3 different pieces. So I'm going to file and save this. I'm just going to call it Linked Hearts Colored. So then I'm going to come into Cricut. I'm going to, oops, make sure that this is saved because I was working on something earlier. And I'm going to hit New. Now I want to upload that image that I was just doing. That is under Love. Nope, I'm under Pictures, not SVGs. And I called that Linked Hearts Colored. And it's giving me difficulty. I'm not sure why. So we'll just grab a different one for this next part here. I think I will use the same thing that I used before. Have some little elephants in here. I'm going to upload this one. So this is the one. I'm going to add this to the canvas. I've done this one before. I'm going to bring it up here where we can see it. I wanted to make this on a shirt, and I had this set to 12 wide because the shirt was a large shirt. But whenever I go to make it, it says this, and I didn't have enough. So it says at least one of your images is larger than 11.5. I would have to put it on one of these sheets, which are mats, which I have, but I didn't have enough of the color that I wanted to be able to do that. So basically what I did was take that picture, onto here because I believe it was an SVG first. So I just imported that same thing, that SVG, because you can import SVGs into Inkscape and mess around with them a little bit in Inkscape. So I did the Elephant Mother Love so that I would have this piece that I needed. You can make it bigger if you need to. or just zoom in and make sure that there's no box around it. And then again, I'm just going to screenshot, go in here. I'm going to put a new file here. I'm not going to save this one because I don't need it. And I'm going to paste that. So then what I did was I took just the one piece that I needed. Control X will cut it out. And then I went in and I got a new one without saving this. And I pasted it. Now because I have this little piece here that I don't want to be there, I'm just going to erase that piece. And I'm going to grab this and make it smaller. So I saved this one in. And then came into Inkscape again. You're going to screenshot this same picture, come back into Paint, do that same thing, and then get the picture of just the mother and save that as well. So then when you come back into Cricut and you go to upload it, you've got two separate pieces, which I have saved in here, I believe. So I believe I saved it two separate ones, but it was through Inkscape, so it's two different pieces. So I'm going to delete this one that I had, and bring this one up here. I'm going to put it at 1 and 1. So now with this one, I've got two separate pieces that I can ungroup, move them around, and that means that when I go in to make it, I can now put it in the same thing. So if I decide this is what I'm wanting, I kind of put the picture back together the way that it's supposed to be. I'm going to select all of it. I'm going to put it back to 12 like I had it earlier. And when you go in to make it, now you've got two separate pieces that eventually you'll just be able to put together. But you can move stuff around here to make sure that it is where it needs to be. If you have these pieces like this and you want to do just one of them because say you tried to cut it out and something went wrong, it didn't cut out the mother correctly, but it did cut out the baby correctly, and you don't want to cut the baby out right now, you can simply click on the three dots here, hit hide selected, and that will take it off of here so that it's still in your Cricut design space when you hit cancel, but it's not here on this page when you go to cut. So the last thing we're going to do on this video is the slicing and welding. So slicing, I'm going to use this picture that I had I made of Alice in Wonderland because I absolutely love this picture. I'm going to put it all at 1 and 1. Oops. So this is actually, let's ungroup it, and I'm going to move this. I'm going to also make that a little bit, send it to the back so that we can see everything here. And I'm going to select everything and make it a little bit smaller so we can see everything. So we're going to make this at a 6 here. So as you can see, we have this Alice. Did not grab the right piece there. I'm going to grab her little black bow up here. So she has a bit of an outline here. That's my boyfriend messaging me. He likes to message me 5 times at once. So make this a little bit taller so we can kind of see a little bit better. So say I have a blue cup, right, and I want to make the Alice picture on the blue cup, but I want it to, the dress to be the color of the blue cup. So I'm just going to grab this blue dress, and I do it over here because it's a lot easier to grab things over here. I want to make sure that I grab everything that's blue. I believe her eyes are also blue. And then I'm also going to grab this black piece because that black piece is the shadow in the back. That's what creates the outline when you cut it out. You can only slice one piece at a time, I guess. So you're going to do this, grab those two pieces that you want, and you're going to click slice. Now once you've sliced it, the pieces are going to move around a little bit. This is the original piece we had. This is the piece that's sliced out of it. And you can tell when you've done it right just by looking at it. I'm going to send this to the back so we can see how it looks. This piece here is actually white, which is why you can't really tell that, like, it looks like it took everything out, but it didn't. This part is just white. But now we're going to do the same thing with the eyes. We're going to take the slice result here, take both of those pieces, and you can do this by hitting shift and then clicking on the two pieces that you need. We're going to slice again, and then again you come up here, you can see that this is the piece that was sliced and the original piece together. We're just going to delete those. You just hit delete to do that. Another way that you can move things to the back is just by grabbing it over here on the right and pulling it down to the bottom, and now it's in the back. So we see that this piece is white here. This is going to be see-through so that whenever you print it out and you layer it, you're going to put it on whatever you're putting it on, and this piece will just be completely see-through. So this is going to cut out just like this, and that's what that's going to look like for your background over here. And then, you know, obviously these pieces just kind of go over top of it. Looks a little funny when it's on here because of all the pieces being not together. But then you can take everything back by undoing everything and put it all back when you're done if you want, so that you can save it like that. So another, I want to get rid of all of it. Just going to delete this stuff off. The other thing that a lot of people have been asking me about is welding. And I think one of the things that is probably the hardest to weld is letters. So we are just going to put a little sample here. And the letters that need welded are usually script. And cool thing that I found that isn't necessarily something I was going to talk about, but now that I'm thinking about it, I could. I have this character thing that shows me all of the fonts that I've downloaded, plus all of the fonts that were already on there whenever I got the computer. And I believe I actually downloaded this on my Play Store. I don't remember what it is called. I can actually get out of here so we can figure out what that's called. I keep a lot of things up whenever I'm working because I know. So it's just a simple character map. I like this particular one that has that as the icon for it, just because it's pretty simple to use. And I can kind of go through here and see, but also I can save things into different little areas over here. So I can just go in. I know that I want something script, and I know that I want something that's a little bit thicker because I'm going to be, you know, I would be obviously cutting it out. So I'm going to look through here, and I think I like this one. So I'm just going to go back in, and I'm going to put in the word cream up here, and it brings up the cream cake one. So as you can see, I have this, it's all put together already. Some of them don't do that. Some of them, they'll be too close or too far away, and that really is makes it difficult. The thing with this is, if you just type in the word and you do that, when you go in to make it, it's going to come up and you can see these little spots here. We can make it a little bigger to make it a little bit more noticeable. I'm going to put this at a 10. So here, looking at it, it doesn't look like anything like would be wrong with it. But whenever you come in here, there's like pieces here that are going to weld separately or cut separately. And if you ungroup it and then you go in to make it, it's going to do this, and everything's going to be completely separate. And if you try to just move it to be the same as it was, you'll see this is basically what it's going to look like if you try to cut it out without welding it. So you're going to see these lines cut out. So if you just select everything, hit weld, better yet, I'm going to go back from that. The only thing with welding is that once you do it, without using the undo, you cannot undo it. You can't just go in like you do with attach and unweld. So make sure when you're welding things that you're doing make sure that it is what you want it to be before you continue moving on, because once you've welded that, you're stuck with it. So if we make this a different color, I'm going to make it a lighter color. You can see here where it would cut right here and it would cut right here. Now when you go in and you click weld, I'm going to get rid of this first. You can see how it all attaches, and this is what it's going to look like. Again, you have to do the undo to be able to get it to go back to this. Something I've noticed is if you have things a little too close together, we're going to try to get a couple of these so you can kind of see. If I try to weld it like this, that did not work. We're going to kind of, sometimes it'll do one of these things, and I'm not even going to weld that whole thing because we don't need to. You'll see that this part here is up this way. Some of them, if you weld them too close together, this whole thing would be filled in, and you would have to just basically come out and put everything where it looks like it goes together a little bit better. So you can kind of move stuff around. If you're wanting to do something a little different and make it look a little, you know, up and down, or, you know, something like that, you can kind of move the pieces around however you want to move them. And then you just grab the whole thing and weld it. And then you see that everything is like this. The other thing is too, if you want all of it to be together like that, you could contour the different pieces. You come out of it, and then all these pieces are like that. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but some people just, you know, want to, I guess. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see what I can do.